So, I'm going to start off with this presentation. It's a lot more boring than his presentation because it's about philosophy, a lot. All what I'm going to say now, it's about basic knowledge and what comes after that. So everything now is almost basic. After all of this, I'm going to give you a theory to convince you that article, 4 ways to participate for international students, it's unnecessary. Let's start with this topic. It's called the master idea, okay? I have 3 parts, and each part depends on the part before. The master idea is an idea that controls everything and surrounds everything, okay? So when I say surrounds everything else, I mean surrounds every idea that's not strong enough to hack through that idea, which is the master idea. As you can see in here, I said it's standing around every other idea and attractive. It has a gravity. Because once you start to leave it, it attracts you back to block you inside that idea, okay? The existence of this idea has an effect, which is it gives 2 things. First, the minders, and the second thing is the jumpers, okay? The minders are the people who break the dominance of that idea, okay? Why do they break that dominance? Because they don't believe in it. Or they rebuild it again. They rebuilt it with their own logic because they didn't believe in it in that picture, so they changed the picture into a different picture. It's the same idea, but they simplified it so they understand what is this idea about. The other type of the result of that idea, the jumpers. The jumpers, I said they are under the bridge. Which bridge? The bridge that hacks through this master idea. What is the other thing without the interest? Because they are not interested in leaving that. Because, like going to the space, it needs to hack through the gravity of the Earth. They are not interested at all. They don't even try to go somewhere else. One type of the master idea is the bubble. What is the bubble? It's very weak, difficult, because no one knows that it's there. It's difficult to hack through. It needs some work. Isolative. It isolates whoever inside it, from seeing what's behind it, and it's limiter. It limits the potential of the people inside it. The same, because it's one type of the master ideas, because it controls actually. It's weak, yes, but it still controls what's inside it, the same people. Minders, because of their habit to break everything, they would pop it, which means they would hack through it, because they know how to break it. Jumpers become expellers because they would believe in it. They don't know what is it about, but they just believe in it because it's there. They just want to believe in anything. Don't see its gaps. Yes, because they just believe in it. They didn't see its gaps. Once they see one of the gaps, they would become minder just in that gap. The bubble words. Temporary, negatively resulting, jumped. You do not understand this until you see what's after this. I said in here, the minders of the bubble, when a war happens, they are free, active, permanent. They stick where they are. They give an opinion and stick with that opinion because it's based on logic. Okay? What about these people, the jumpers? within the bubble, not interested in leaving the bubble because it makes sense for them. They have an evidence that it is true. Temporary. Once they see that evidence is weaker than the other bubble evidence, they move to the other bubble. They still don't have the perfect idea. They didn't break the dominance. They just moved from a domain to another. Okay. This is what she said in her article, okay? I forgot her name, sorry for this. Whatever her name is. I don't care. I care about what she said. She said, I'm going to put every single point of what she said under that idea of breaking the domain, because moving from being ineffective in the class and start to participate means to break something. Right? You all agree with this. Learn the basic ways. Learning. The basic ways of starting a conversation. Okay. Starting a conversation is not about saying hi or something, because everybody knows how to start a conversation. So that would not move you from a place to another. It won't change the domain of anything. Because you already know that saying hi or saying hello is a way to start a conversation. Be bold. Unfortunately, I tried hardly to convince myself that when she said be bold, what she meant is moving from that domain to another. But after what she said, she gave just some actions. Once you do these actions, you become bold. So she just described the other type of people, and you want you to move to be just like them. But she didn't give a way to move from being, I don't know what's that, and to move bold. Introvert. Actually, it was about introverts and extroverts, but I changed these words because somebody told me the definition of them is not the same as what you mean in here. Because sometimes an introvert becomes a minder, and sometimes the extroverts become minders. Here, listen carefully. After she said this, she just said before that, these people who don't participate, which are introverts, they listen carefully and they are busy with listening, okay? If they are busy with listening, so they are so busy with listening, why did she say listen? She just said listen carefully after that? It's unnecessary. Use critical thinking. In this point, I think she is very close of breaking that domain, because once you start thinking about how to become active, how to participate, you would have ideas, and you would want to prove these ideas to the other people. And at this point, if she meant that, she was right. But the other points are unnecessary. Okay? These are my ways of how to participate. How to break the domain, actually. Because once you want to start participating, that means you have to make changes in your personality. You are an introvert, you have to be an extrovert. At least in that idea. You have to become a minder, at least in that master idea, and break that bubble. Usually in the classes, for example, we are forced to participate. I call that pushing. Okay? I was about to get a chocolate bar today. Sorry, I forgot that. And I was going to ask you to answer a question. And who answers that would get the chocolate bar. And I am sure every single student would try to answer the question. Okay? And it would be a very easy question. Why? That means every single one would participate. That's what I call encouraging. What's called encouraging. And I called it winching. Why? When the car's stuck in the desert, they use the winch to pull it out, right? You all know about this. That doesn't change the nature of the desert, and that doesn't change the nature of the car, but still helps. That's why I call it winching, because it doesn't change your nature, and it doesn't change the nature of me. But what I want, the result of all this presentation, and I actually what she said in her article, the author, she even didn't mention these two. So she didn't even mention any way actually. Because pushing means I will push you from a bubble to another. Winching, I will pull you out of the domain of that bubble. Popping is breaking the domain. Once you break the domain, you would move from the smaller bubble to the bigger idea. Once you break this, you'd move to this. Okay? Sometimes it will come back to here because you know you need sometimes not to participate. But you would know that otherwise you'll participate. Did she mention any of these? No. Unfortunately, in our classes, everybody does this. Maybe Emily. Sometimes she gives you a reason. She says, you have to meet other people. Right? That's encouraging. But, sorry about this, but I believe the perfect way to make people participate and to give them the opportunity to participate is not by just giving them a reason. It's by letting them believe that they need to participate sometimes, not because they need to, but because they want to. Any question? Sorry about the lecture, but at least she's wrong. That article's wrong.
You said that listen carefully. The carefully is...
I didn't say that, she said that.
Yeah. You said it's unnecessary. What if an international student doesn't have strong English skill? So she or he needs to listen carefully so he can exchange the two different languages in her mind.
When I said it's unnecessary, I didn't mean it's unnecessary as an idea of listening. I said it's unnecessary as an idea of participating. Because what she said...
You said carefully is unnecessary.
No, I didn't say it.
You said...
I said in bad
voice. Here,
let him clarify what he meant.
Yeah. What I meant by unnecessary, I meant... Because listening carefully, it has two parts actually. It's part of participating, and it's part of listening, right? And the part of participating, she said, you are busy with listening carefully. You are listening carefully already. So actually, she gives two contradictory ideas in her article. Okay. What I meant by that point is, she should not write that point after she wrote the first point. But I didn't mean that listening carefully is not important. Listening careful is actually, I believe that listening careful is seriously important because if you want to talk about something, you should start from a very good mentality, which is a very good basement. When you start a building, you don't start from the top to the floor. You should start from the bottom, right? And listening is the bottom level. You have to actually. But what I meant there, after she said her point, which is you are already listening, she said you have to listen. What does she mean? And I didn't say that listening is not important. It's important in participating and important in learning the language. It's important everywhere. Because if you don't listen, you are narrowing your mind.
Why did you title your presentation "The Master Idea"? If you wanted to talk about the article.
Because to understand the article, she talked only about the actions. She did not talk about the reason behind the actions. Actually, I know that you freaked out when you saw this topic because you were thinking, what is he talking about? And I'm telling you, I felt like my subject is not joined probably because I should start with an introduction before I move to this idea. But every action comes from a mentality, right? Because everything is based on a reason, right?
Not necessarily. There's hope.
Okay.
This will be our last question.
Okay. Who has a question?
Give us an example of be bold as you understand it.
You mean her point, be bold?
As you translate it, because she didn't translate it.
Okay.
Think that.
Okay, really, you're right. Actually,
Yeah, she did it.
I didn't give what she meant by being bold. Being bold, and let's say in an article, if there is a bold writing, you concentrate on that bold writing, right? Like if it's highlighted, which means when someone around between that community or anything you are sitting with, you'd be the one who everybody is concentrating on. Everybody concentrates on. I think that's what she meant by being bold, being active, doing everything to make everybody looks at you. So that's like becoming attractive, sort of. But she didn't talk about personality or anything, unfortunately. Sorry for wasting your time.
One question.
Go, okay.
I remember one of your strategy is forcing, pushing.
Me?
We are forced to participate in class.
Actually, yes.
By who? By who? By the professor? I don't think.
Is that what you mean?
Actually, it depends. It depends on the teacher. I'm telling you, Emily she is one of the good teachers because she doesn't force actually. But to keep everything nameless, there are others who force you. Actually, one of the teachers asked me to leave the class, and she knows who I'm talking about because I didn't talk with the student beside me.
Don't worry, it's private.
I know it's private.
Okay,
Actually, I'm not afraid.
Abbas, that was very interesting. Clearly, there could be a